If you're not using, or at least seriously considering using Facebook to market your business, then you're leaving money on the table. I don't want to hear anything like Facebook is old or outdated or not cool, because the fact of the matter is, it's just as relevant and just as valuable today as it's ever been before. And in this episode, I'm going to show you why. Hey there, my name is Erhart, marketing strategist, and welcome to The Marketing Show. Alright, probably no surprise here, but Facebook is a global phenomenon. Still remember when it first came out as the Facebook and weren't even able to get access unless you were going to a certain school or whatnot, but then they rolled it out and slowly but surely it started to gain adoption and it started to sort of make its way into the business circles. Then of course over the years we've seen its evolution from this massive organic platform where it was kind of like invitation only or you had to apply, to the fact that they tried to get everybody that they could possibly on the platform. They encouraged all of these businesses to go to Facebook and to build up massive organic Facebook business pages, and then they throttled the reach completely and moved everybody towards ads. So it's not surprising that Facebook comes with its share of controversy, both in regards to how it sort of built up its business by using organic and then throttling that and moving everybody towards ads, as well as its role in the news and in the media with things like elections and politics and a whole bunch of stuff like data breaches and security. A whole bunch of things we're not even going to talk about, because as relevant as that is to the overall kind of social consciousness of where we're at today, it's kind of irrelevant to where you're at as a business. And really what I want to do here is explain to you the true power of Facebook marketing and Facebook advertising and try to convince you to at least give this a chance in your business if you haven't already. And if you are using Facebook, then that's fantastic. We'll talk about a few ways that you can get even more bang from your buck from this absolute behemoth of a social media network. All right, so on that topic, the very first thing that we do have to talk about is the ubiquitous nature of Facebook. The fact that it has massive adoption with over 1 billion users, tons of people logging in all the time, spending an absolute insane amount of time on the platform. I think the last statistic I checked was average user spending somewhere around 20 minutes a day on the platform. I think with Instagram, it's like 29 minutes a day, but regardless, there's a whole lot of time to be spending on a social media network, especially for you as a business owner or an entrepreneur or a marketer or somebody who's trying to get your customers' attention, because that is the main name of the game here. It is trying to get your customers' attention, trying to find the place where they are present and where they're active so you can position yourself accordingly to get right in front of them. And regardless of what demographic that you're trying to reach, whether we're talking young or middle age or older, Facebook is a phenomenal way to do it. That's right, it doesn't matter whether we're talking about older demographics like 50 to 70, 70 up. It doesn't matter if we're talking about kind of that middle demographic of 30 to 50, or even if we're talking about that under 30 demographic where a lot of people are pushing the advice to go to TikTok or go to Instagram, or maybe even take a look at Snapchat, and it's still kind of relevant. Really, all of that is somewhat true, but they're also still present and active on Facebook. And the statistics show us that. So it's not like nobody under 30 is on Facebook. They're using it differently, they're using it maybe less, but it's still really relevant. So regardless of what demographic you're trying to go after, you can find them on Facebook. And while we're on the topic of worldwide adoption and just so many people using the platform, well, this didn't happen by accident and it didn't happen overnight, but Facebook has slowly and insidiously crept its way into our everyday lives. So it's now taken over as the new form of TV, new form of magazines, new form of newspapers. This is the place where a lot of people go to consume their content. And not just that kind of stereotypical social media content like funny cat memes and goofy videos or anything like that. But this is the place where people are going to connect with friends and with family. They're going here to get the latest news, to hear what's going on in the world, and to sort of consume their content that way. So it's really important to understand that as the rise of Facebook has sort of taken over, we've watched all of these other networks and all these other platforms like the newspaper and radio and TV and magazines and a lot of like older traditional print type of marketing. We've watched those statistics just decline, really just fall off a cliff as way less people are consuming that kind of content and way more people are consuming online content. And from online content, a lot of them are on Facebook consuming it there. Again, what this comes down to is making sure that you're positioning yourself and your business in front of those customers, in front of those people who are active and present on Facebook. And while on the topic of connecting with friends and family and the social network in your community and things like that, Facebook has also become kind of a new community center. Got a lot of features like the ability to have events and the ability to create or join Facebook groups and the ability to create those incredibly annoying group messages that always seem to get lumped into. But regardless, this is a place to connect with other people. And of course, as the expression goes, marketers ruin everything. So as soon as Facebook allows us to start marketing in all of these different areas and these different types of sections or segments or features of the Facebook platform, I can guarantee you we're going to find our way in there. But until then, just understand that this is a great place for your clients, your customers, everyone that you're trying to go after. This is where they're engaging with their community and with other people. Also really important to understand the psychology and kind of the attitude that people are approaching their consumption and their use of Facebook with. And this is where you can really separate the amateur marketers from the pros. You see, one of the most important pieces of advice that I could ever hope to offer you is to understand the context and the psychology and the consumer behavior and kind of all the mindset and the attitude that goes into a person using a certain platform. There really is different attitudes and different behaviors that different users have on different platforms. Essentially, nobody logs into Facebook with a credit card in hand, ready to buy. There's just not that buyer intent. There's not the desire to just go out there and buy all sorts of stuff, with the exception of Facebook Marketplace, which is becoming more popular, but that's another thing entirely. The point is that you need to understand if you're going to be creating content or marketing materials or sales materials or some kind of message with the intention of communicating and providing value and really building that trust and rapport with your customer base, you have to understand that they're not there to buy stuff, they're there to connect with friends, with family, consume content, and all of that. And that way, it allows you to strategically design and position your content so it comes as a welcome visitor rather than an unwanted pest. All right, the next thing that you really need to understand to better market your business on Facebook is to understand all of the features that Facebook gives you that are going to allow you to, again, connect with your ideal target market and connect with your customers. I realize as I'm going through all these, I sound like a spokesperson or a salesman for Facebook, and nothing could be further from the truth. Fact is, the less people, the less marketers, I should say, that use Facebook, well, the less competition that me and my clients and my students have. So it's actually in my best interest if you just stay off the platform, other than the fact that I know this is the right thing to do, and it is an incredibly powerful platform. So I really would encourage you to go out there and test all these things for yourself and see if they're the right fit. I've also been on Facebook since it first came out, and I've been using it aggressively as a marketer to help my clients and my students generate millions and millions of dollars using the exact same features and exact same strategies that I'm sharing with you now. So I know this stuff works. Anyway, back on track, let's talk features. Obviously, the main one is that feed, the news feed. This is the main thing that you see, whether you're on your desktop or you're on your phone and you're thumbing through it at lightning speed, just like your customers are too. Well, this is the main area that everybody thinks about. Now, here you can post content through your personal profile, which is what I recommend because the organic reach hasn't been throttled quite as bad there, or your business page, which is a separate page dedicated solely for your business. And Facebook has 100% throttled the reach of your business page, meaning if you're putting out content there, you're putting it on your Facebook business page, and you're expecting anybody to see it, you're gonna be disappointed. This is because Facebook has a pretty smart business model. They essentially encouraged everybody to use their Facebook business pages, said that they were incredibly important to have, which they were, and then once everybody was using them and started to really rely on them, well, they cut the reach completely, and they said, look, if you want your content to be seen, you're gonna have to use our ads. So we're definitely going to be talking about ads, but more on that in just a second. First, we've got to talk about some of the other features, including the Facebook groups. Great place, whether you want to have an open group, a closed group, a private group. You can charge people off the platform and then put them in a paid group for doing kind of more content and more value and more coaching and things like that. There really are no shortage of strategies available when it comes to growing and building and engaging with people inside Facebook groups. There's also, of course, Facebook Stories, which are very similar to pretty much any other social media network stories, albeit not quite as good. So if you're really big into stories, then Instagram Stories are still the best place. YouTube even has stories. I think if you've got a channel with more than 10,000 subscribers, you can use those. Again, they're okay, but the reigning champ there really is Instagram Stories. Still, just know that they are an option. And of course you have Facebook Live, which is the ability to go live from your page or even inside of a group, so you can put on a broadcast or a video, maybe even just like this one, although you can just hit that live button and you can have real-time engagement with your followers or with your subscribers or with whoever is engaged in your group. The beauty of all of these features is, up until this point, those are all free, whether we're talking about posting organically on your page or on your personal profile, whether we're talking about creating a Facebook group or joining a Facebook group, or whether we're talking about using Facebook Live. All of it's free. But the free stuff really doesn't get me excited, certainly not as a marketer, and that's why I really shifted heavily to Facebook ads, essentially as soon as they came out, because I saw the power and the potential that we had by using Facebook ads, while everybody else, when Facebook first introduced the ads platform, was complaining about organic reach kind of just getting flushed down the toilet and everybody needing to pay money now to reach all of the followers that they built up, which is a relatively valid argument. However, if you take emotions out of the equation, you realize that while everybody else is complaining, you can just pay a few bucks and you can reach all of the people that they're busy complaining that they don't get to reach anymore. Well, fast forward a few years and times have changed. I mean, the penny clicks that we used to be able to get, those incredibly cost-effective results, the 10 times or 100 times or 1,000 times return on investment campaigns we used to be able to run pretty easily, those days are mostly gone. We're still able to get pretty decent returns, whether it's 300%, 500%, even 1,000% return on investment, which compared to almost any other kind of vehicle out there, whether we're talking about real estate or the stock market, I mean, nothing compares to direct response advertising. One of the tools, of course, is Facebook ads. But the glory days and the wild, wild west, those are behind us. So if you do want to set up a proper Facebook advertising campaign, you are going to need to do it better than it's ever been done before, which means a lot more detailed research into your ideal customer avatar, making sure your targeting is on point, making sure you've got a really good offer, building out a proper funnel, writing a good ad. There's a lot more that goes into it today than ever before if you want to be successful and get those really earth-shakingly good results. All that said, Facebook ads are still easily one of the best advertising options available for new advertisers online today. The ads platform, the Facebook Ads Manager, is just so incredibly easy and intuitive to use that it really is the best place to start. And if you compare it to some of the more complicated platforms, Google Ads probably being a great example, still really good results, but a little bit more of a confusing dashboard, a little harder to set up, a little harder to get rolling. Well, Facebook is just a complete dream. Not to mention when you run Facebook ads, because Facebook owns Instagram, it allows you just with a check of a little button to run your ads on Facebook as well as Instagram. And you can run them across all of the different types of features and different types of placements that both Facebook and Instagram have, which means you've got access to all of the Facebook users, all of the Instagram users, all of the different features, and it's still relatively cost effective and certainly cost effective when compared to traditional forms of advertising like TV or newspaper or radio or print or billboards or skywriting or anything like that. People don't do enough skywriting these days. I think it's coming back. One really important thing though when we're talking about Facebook ads is to understand that lately they've really been cracking down. So you've got to dive into their terms of service, you've got to read it through, as boring as it is, and really try to understand what you are allowed to advertise and what you're not allowed to advertise, what you are allowed to say and what you're not allowed to say. Because if you blur those lines, if you start to cross over and put anything that they deem even remotely sketchy, they will disable your ads and shut down your ad account, just like that. But if you follow the rules and you do things strategically, you can get a phenomenal bang for your marketing buck using advertising. Which is why the next thing you're going to want to do is check out the video I have linked up right here on how to advertise your small business. So make sure to check that out now, and I'll see you in the next episode. This is why when it comes to advertising, probably one of the most important things you need to think about is, what am I trying to sell here? What is my core